This episode is brought to you by the Shop 1 in 5 Pledge. We believe that when you purchase from a small online or offline business, your dollar goes further. Hey friends, Minna and I created the Shop 1 in 5 Pledge, and we're inviting you to take it with us. It's a commitment to make 1 in 5 of your purchases from a small business, online or offline. It's a way to make an impact together where and when it matters most. Because the truth is, your purchasing power matters now more than ever. Head to shop1in5.com to take the pledge. Make that commitment to shop 1 in 5 of your purchases towards a small business. We also invite you to shop the directory if you don't know where to find other small businesses. It's right there on the page. And we're asking for you to share the pledge. Imagine if each of us told 3 to 4 people about the Shop 1 in 5 pledge. It would be an incredible and life-changing for so many small businesses. Tell your friends, your family, and your social network. It costs nothing extra and makes a world of difference. Our purchases have the ability to change lives. Okay, let's jump in.
Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product-based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Minna an Amazon guru that has built a multi-6-figure product-based business.
And introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Product Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Jacqueline Snyder, with my biz partner and co-host, Minna. Hey, Minna.
Hey, Jacqueline.
So I was going to introduce you as my biz bestie. We started as biz besties, moved into biz partners, and now we're life partners.
Yes.
So it happens when you share a bank account and businesses and all the things. So 2 sides of the brain, exactly. And we are so excited because this episode is such a good one. I am a fangirl, so I will start off by saying that we actually have best friends and business partners, Cat and Nat. So if you haven't heard about them, or maybe you have, they're the hosts of Mom Truths podcast. You can watch them daily on Instagram like I do, or check out their Mom Truths on YouTube. They're an incredible duo of women that really know how lonely and isolating motherhood can be, and they share it truthfully and honestly and with comedy.
Yeah, I love them. I actually remember vividly, this is true, feeling like fangirl stalker, vividly of when I first saw them, because they were sitting in their car. I was watching through Facebook videos and they pop on there and they were talking about just mom life, right? And they're going back and forth and they were just so hilarious. And they've really always piqued my interest as far as they are very honest in a very hilarious way. If you don't know who they are, they're more, I mean, they speak the truth, right? They speak the truth of what it's like to be a mom. And they have 7 kids between the 2 of them, and they find humor in all of it. And they do it with the friendship of each other. So this is good. This is such a good episode. We've really been really big fans of them. And I think that it feels like we know them. And the fact that they're a duo, they're a partnership. They started off as friends. They're going to share that story with you in this episode, and how they've moved into their partnership and how they work in their partnership. And Minna and I are always fascinated. I feel like it's like people who are twins are fascinated by other twins. We're always fascinated by business partnerships, especially those with women, right? 2 women, 2 moms. And so we do get into that. The other thing that we really dig into that I'm excited to share with you is that they've launched their product bosses now, friends, and they launched a brand called TAYLIVI, which is inspired by their 2 oldest daughters, Taylor and Olivia, and they'll chat about that. And really the why they started this brand, what they believe in, and that it is very mission-based and it's about community amongst these girls. And also that they believe that traditional sizing is stupid, right? The way that they used to size versus the range that they've created. So I'm so excited to share just, behind the scenes of Cat Nat. They're huge. They have commercials. They're going on tour. They're going on tour in Iowa.
We're going to try and see them on tour. It's their reunion. I think they're calling it their reunion tour, but we're going to try and see them on tour. They're hilarious. tips. They make you feel better about mom life and all the things, right? And also the fact that they are now product bosses and just what they're doing with their business and with their daughters. So I'm so excited for you guys to listen. Let's jump in. All right, friends, we're so excited to have Cat and Nat on the podcast. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
So excited to have you. So for our audience that doesn't know who you are yet, maybe they do, maybe they don't, would you mind telling us a little bit about Cat and Nat, what you do? And I would love to know how you two met.
Ooh, well, the two of us, we live in Toronto and we're from Toronto, and we actually met in 9th grade. We went to the same high school. And while we were at high school, we had the same thing in common, that we weren't able to sit through a whole class or a whole morning or a whole day. So when the bell rang and everybody went into class, the two of us would be sitting outside being like, do you want to go to school? No, let's go back to your mom's house and maybe smoke a joint and have some bagels. That's basically what went on there. And then we went our separate ways. We kept in touch. Like we weren't best friends through all the years, but we were the first of all of our friends to have babies. So when we had babies, we found each other again through Facebook. And we were both in the same kind of boat, that we thought that like getting married and having babies would be this blissful like experience, and it would just be so calm and everything we imagined, when in reality it was a total shit show, and we were losing our minds and we felt lonely, and we got together and we started hanging out, and we never stopped hanging out from that moment forward, because we think that it's great having a husband and all, but you really need a wife or a partner by your side. So everything that we've started and done growing our business and our social media has been with the same mission in mind, that moms, we want to make sure moms don't feel like they're alone. They feel like they have a space where they can come, where they're not judged, where we are open-minded, and also a place where you can find fun in motherhood. It's not always stressful and terrible.
Yeah, you guys are so hilarious. I mean, just so hilarious. And have a bit of the same kind of humor too. And you need it when you have as many kids as you have. How many kids do each of you have?
I have 3. And I have 4. And then Kat got a dog, a Bernedoodle. So then I got a Bernedoodle. Both of our husbands are named Mark. And really, we just all do life together.
Amazing. Yeah, we've told our husbands that they are also life partners. So we all have to kind of figure this out and get along.
No choice here, boys.
No, we're actually obligated to each other. We've got finances that cross over. We are in it to win it. And it's true. Yeah. I mean, finding a female partner, like a woman, a friend, because Minna and I met we met through business, and we called ourselves biz.
And we
besties.
met online. And now we have a business.
Yeah. Got 4 years later.
But you've met in real life, right?
We have. But probably if you added up the number of times, it might be, I don't know, 20.
Yeah. Maybe.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's crazy, right?
So cool.
Yeah. And when we first met, when we first were like, let's start this business, let's launch something, my brother was like, are you crazy? Like, have you met her? Like, you catfish? And I was like, no, we FaceTimed. We're good.
I was thinking you might get catfish, but you're in it. You're successful. So it's working out, you two. Yeah. It's working out.
It's amazing. Yeah. All right. So I love the mom truths part of it all. You do show vulnerability through comedy. And I think that's something that we really want to show our audience as well, because there's so much guilt there, right? Especially as a mom, as a parent, and then homeschooling, or having your kids at home, right? Just in general. Yeah. And Minna and I we want to be transparent with it, right? It's great sometimes, not so great other times. You ladies keep adding, more to your plate, right? Like you're going on tour, you have courses, you have a membership, you have an Amazon Live, all the things. How do you kind of raise your kids with an understanding of mommy needs to work and this is awesome and she still loves you?
I honestly just want to start by saying, usually we try to talk about it in a really and explain it in a really logical way when we're calm and everything's going great. But last night, my TJ was like, Dad's going to have to play basketball with me all day tomorrow. And Mom, you're always on your phone, or you go over to Cat's and you're always working. And I was like, in the heat of it, I was like, TJ, do you see this roof over your head? Do you see these beds with sheets? The reason we work is for that. And if you make us play basketball all day long, we will no longer have a home. We will be broke. but normally we have to try to explain to them, because we're not in an office. We work from home. So when they're home, and also they think that dad uses a computer, so that's work. We use our phones mostly, but that's not work to them. So we really have to try to get that. They do understand social media. A lot of them now, some of them are on it because they're older, but that this is how we work. And then we also guilt them a little bit and say, do you want us to go to
It's
the
like
office?
the reverse of mom guilt, if you will. Like we guilt them. That's how good we are. No, it's
Genius.
not that we, that's what you just said. No, I
Totally.
think that if when we go on tour, like you guys mentioned, and we have to leave and we get to meet and chat, we choose to leave and we get to chat to so many women and they're so perplexed at how we're able to leave. It really is something that we have to, as women, stop apologizing for what we do because we're making it wrong. And our children are picking up that when you're guilty, you're wrong of something. So if we're apologizing for working, what does that teach our sons and daughters who might have partners who are women who are working? And what are they going to feel like and apologize for what they're doing when there's nothing wrong with what you do? So when we leave, we try not to be like, I'm so sorry, I'll be back. Like we really try to own that this is a choice and we love what we do. And we're so lucky we love what we do rather than,
I'm so sorry. I'll try to come back early.
Here's a gift for you. Like, I can't wait. I miss you so much. Do you miss me? We've
also talked to our partners about putting the conversation out loud, not only from our husbands, but to the children to say, Mommy, like, I hope you do really well at work. Like the kind of positive language about us going away and working. And we make sure that our husbands kind of remind them when we're away that we're out there to work. We're not just having fun. We just make it look really fun.
We are out there just having fun, but it is also work.
But so lucky, right, to have something that you love to do and that you enjoy it. And I think that's all we want for our kids. So I loved it. Do you have any questions about that, Minna, before I jump on?
No, I love that so much because it doesn't feel like work a lot of times. My husband's always like, I hear you cackling behind that door. It doesn't seem like you're even working, So
yeah,
I get that. Did we want to talk about the new product line?
Yeah. So TAYLIVI, right? So now you have kids and you've launched this brand, which I think is just so incredible. I'm from the fashion space. I'm a fashion designer by trade. And what I love about the brand that you've done with TAYLIVI, that you've kind of gone away with traditional sizing, right? And instead of doing extra small and extra large, you've done universal sizing label A through G. So there's no sort of label on you and it's inspired by your daughter. So would you mind telling us a little bit more about it?
So much of the whole idea behind the sizing came from, there are so many women in our past, in our lives that have told us about their issues with a specific size that they're wearing. But our daughters, we had 2 daughters, they're our firstborn, and all of their lives, they have been very tall for their age. They were always the biggest in their class. And everybody always commented on it, which can be very obvious to them that they are the biggest, and they've heard it from absolutely everyone. And
to the point now where they're like, how big am I going to get? Like, what size am I going to end up being? Because it's been such a focal point. And I'm like, I can't tell you what size you're going to be because only your body knows what size you're going to be, we don't have these answers, but they're, I wouldn't say concerned. It's like when it's been a focal point their whole life, they're like, well, how big am I? Like, am I going to be this forever?
And
they're 11 and 12 respectively,
they outgrew the kids stores a long time ago. So their friends were still shopping at the Kids Gap. And when they were it's been years since they've been able to fit in the largest size there. And so that's a little bit confusing for them. And then we bought them jean shorts one year and we bought from 3 different brands. It was all different size, completely different fits. But this is so confusing for young girls who are just, trying to figure themselves out.
To fit in, navigate their bodies, to understand what it feels like to want to look like your peers, but nothing fits you that looks like your peers. You're shopping in women's stores. Some of the teen brands that are available are a one size fits all that is not a one size fits all. It's a one size fits one body type.
And if you don't fit into that, imagine how that makes you feel.
So it's just this conversation. And so much of us are trying to fix women. So much of the body confidence movement is going back to fix people or accept where you are. And I'm like, why can't we start this where we can, stop navigating these girls to ruin them? So we have to go back and fix them as adults or get them to accept where they are as adults. And let's start doing this so we can arm them with confidence that their body is like the smallest portion of who they are, you know, like it's the biggest of what we focus on, and it's the smallest of who they are. And even within the body confidence movement, it's all about the body. So how do we get these kids to move away from thinking that taking up space and beginning to live as they should, which is worrying about, you know, having fun and friendships and experiences and living life. So
we wanted to create a brand that sort of stood for all of that. We don't have it all figured out, but we just knew that there was something missing in the space. And so we wanted to just start. So we quickly just started. And now, you know, we're sitting here and we're like, how are we going to grow this? And how are we going to work with this? But we know that it's missing in the market mostly. And so we were like, well, let's just create it then. And Tay is my tailor, and TAYLIVI is Olivia. Like, what are their names again?
I was like, wait,
who knows?
That?
There's somebody. Yeah, that's how I'm like dog, kid. I don't know.
Oh, I just say all the names. It's like a catch-all, you know?
Yeah.
You remember when your mom used to do that? And you're like, Mom, can you get our names straight? And now it's like, and mine are all T's, including the dog. So like, I cannot get it straight.
One of you. So how's it going? So I know I watched the launch when you launched it, and the girls were really a part of it. And how's it going with them? Like, are they in it with you? Are they trying to sell it? Are they aware of the entrepreneurship of it?
Here's the really tricky thing that I think we've come to realize is that social media is a really scary place for young people because they're still young, learning and making mistakes. And when you put your 12 and 13-year-old in the front of something, they're one mistake away from, you know, really harming themselves long term and making mistakes of videos. And, you know, so we have to be really involved with them, understanding the mission. But and because again, they're not at the place where they feel bad about themselves. So it's really hard for them to articulate those thoughts when they're not there yet, but they understand the concepts, but they're still so young. And we had a lot of 16 and 17-year-olds reach out and be like, I remember the moment I couldn't find something that fit me that everyone else was wearing. I would love to help be a part of this. So what we really want to do is really sit with it for a little bit and make sure that we have the people who it's affecting represent the brand, because I think that's what a lot of brands miss is the people they're actually trying to impact. And we would love to, you know, grow like a board where we had these teens help make these decisions on what would really impact their audience of the ones who are consuming it versus two moms who think they know the mission. So we're just trying to be really thoughtful and get and plan to a place where it's more than just a brand, but it's a mission for girls to really embrace who they are as individuals and not think they have to change or become something. You know, social media is a beautiful thing, but it's also a really hard thing because they can compare constantly. So how do we empower girls to really step up and own who they are at a young age when they're still trying to figure it out every day? And I think that we're being very conscious with the brand and very protective of the brand and taking it very slow so we can grow with it and not just make it a trendy brand. You know, it's kind of where we're at with them. They're very interested. They like to know what's going on. But again, we've seen so many kids mess up on social media or be in front of something and they're just too young. It's kind of like not a weapon, but it's like it's like a thing that lives forever. And you can't take it back because someone can screenshot it or screen record it. There's no sorries on social media. Really. There's no such thing as I'm sorry because someone's going to hold it to you for the rest of your life.
Right. And it's just a big ball of reactions too. You know, it's that instant reaction you get from people. They don't think about what they say. It really is, but then can really impacts people when they're reading through comments, especially at that age, or even things where, you know, it is a little bit like a weapon. People can get unfriended or feel like they're ostracized. And so it's really hard at that age. For all of that, it sounds like you have a team at home, kind of, right? Kind of each other and your kids and your husband. Do you have what's your team look like outside of that? And how do you bring it all together? Like, what's that balance look like?
Our work team?
Yeah. The mix of they're
both rubbing their heads.
No,
we have such a big team, which is very fortunate because they're mostly women. Our 2 lawyers are men. But because we're Canadian and American, we have an American team, we have a touring team, we have agents, we have managers, we have our day-to-day team who all work throughout, like remotely, but throughout Canada and some in the States. And then we have we have another team. We literally have
and then for every product that we have, there's different people working on it. You got the podcast, you got the brand partnerships, you've got the touring, you've got TAYLIVI, you've got the common parent. And so there's people that have their hands a little bit in everything. But a lot of our immediate team that we hired and they didn't have experience in what we were asking them to do. We were still so new and fresh. We just loved their passion and their personalities, and we knew they were smart. So we taught them everything that they know.
If you can Google it, you can figure it out. Basically, you know what I mean? Like Google is our team's best friend, and we just really trust our team, and we let them, we don't ask where they are, what they're doing, how much they're working. We definitely work from a place of, gut, where we gut and trust. And they're all incredibly hardworking women, and they really care about the brand. And
so the women that work for us, you would feel like when we have our meetings and the ideas that they bring and the feedback, you would feel like it was their company. You know what I mean? The way how they care. And sometimes I think to myself, just thinking of one, I'm like, wow, like it's like, why does she care so much? Why is she so great? Like, she's just so great. This one is actually a funny employee. We brought her in as an unpaid intern in the very beginning. Then we employed her. She stayed with us. Then she left us for a year, but then we got her back, and she's like better than ever. But yeah, they really do. They care about,
they protect our brand really.
Cat Nat,
yes, us as people and as our brand. So yeah, nothing we do is, we have a lot of help, and that's just so, because creating content, as you guys know, is a full-time job. Just to create content without running a business is a job on its own.
And none of them live in Toronto either, which is, you guys can appreciate that.
Yeah. I think people really underestimate how much work content is. And, we have a podcast that we release 3 times a week. And then we have Mom Truth. We're writing a second book. We have like just content that takes up 90% of our time, and then 7 children.
And them too. And I mean, and I thank you for talking about that, because it's important. So many of especially our product bosses, there are a lot of them start as makers, right? So they're making jewelry at home, they're making pottery, they're sewing, whatever they're doing to physically make. And so many times they feel like they have to do everything, and they can't give up some of it. And we're trying to really move them into that creative visionary place where as their businesses grow and they can afford to hire people to help them. And Minna and I talk about, outsourcing and delegating. And Mina's always like, I get people to cut my mangoes and my carrots because she buys them pre-cut, right?
So do I, because it saves my life and people are like, that's so much. No,
it's going to be delivered here really shortly.
Oh, that makes me so excited.
It's what my kids will eat. So I don't have to make them, like, cutting vegetables and fruit takes an extra 30 minutes of my day every day.
It's messy when they're juicy.
Oh,
yes. No, but we did learn. We always learn, and we don't really call them mistakes along the way, but because we don't regret anything, and we really grow with the brand. Like, it moved very slowly, but we realized accounting is beyond us. Legal is beyond us. Bookkeeping is beyond us. So all of that is taken care of. And then as we grew, we see like the holes that are missing. And that's when we know we need that person. So we take it till we're like, and then we hire someone.
You know, what's funny is when men hire a team, they're deemed successful. When women hire a team, it's like we have to apologize or lie that we have people who help us. And I think that that's never talked about, that women are often make excuses like, oh, I have to do this because, I do, like, we have to not make excuses, but we have to quantify why we need help. But for men, we're just like, wow, that's so amazing. You have a team of 100. You must be like so successful. And I think women really, whether that is because we need help with childcare, because we need help with, things around the house, whether we need help with, our day-to-day calendars, what we need help with. It's so crazy how we apologize for it.
Yeah. And it takes such a big team. I agree completely, because when you see a man and he says, oh, I started a business, they're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You started a business. A woman says that, oh, you're working from home now, huh? You're, and it's like such this flip that people do. And they're like, oh, you're hiring somebody to do your laundry. And they think that that's not what you should do, but they don't expect the men to do the laundry.
Or it's too bougie, right?
Yeah,
it's like, oh,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention that it takes a village on both sides, I think. And especially with a partnership, it's kind of like every year and so many people's schedules. And so how does your partnership work? Can you tell us a little bit about that, as far as like, do you play separate roles? What are
how do you split your responsibilities?
We've never, ever had a conversation about it. We've never, I think we're freaks in the fact that we probably speak better without speaking in terms of what we know we need to divide and conquer. And I think that if we were to have delegation, it wouldn't work.
It would almost feel like, well, then that's my job and I have to do that job, And instead it's like, we can share it back and forth,
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. The only thing I know that she does 100% is I have no idea what's in her bank account. I have no idea how to get into her bank account. I have no idea how much money. She does all the money. Like, we have accountants and everything, but like, the banking hurts my brain. It always has. So I have full trust in her that she knows what she's doing.
And there's lots of things.
I book all of our travel.
Yeah. There's lots of things in the business that she takes care of 100% too. So, but it's definitely been unspoken, and either it's somebody likes it more or somebody's
better at it.
Somebody better at it, or somebody like whoever, like if it's not like a job, whoever hates it the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we are. We've kind of unsaid, but we always say we're part of the same brain. We don't share a single like letter in terms of the Myers-Briggs. Minna's, she was introverted. I've pulled that out of her. So now we're
look at me now.
She's an introvert, extrovert. Do one of you pull the other one up more, or because Minna always said like I was the first one to kind of nudge her to the front, like nudge her to have a voice.
Mostly like I think of it as things are way more or less. I'm much more introverted just because that's how I approach the world. But I definitely will only do it. I used to only do it if Jacqueline would go first, right? And I would just kind of like be in there. Now I'm fine with just doing it with.
I look over at her. I'm like, what are you, like stand-up comedian with a mic on stage? That's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Do you have anything like that where there's like a, dynamic pull or anything like that?
Well, there's absolutely times in our lives, because during this past decade, we have had more babies. We've had moves. We've had stresses in our life where somebody can't perform pull up as much, and the other one just knows when to step in. So that's very like an up and down. I think
it just depends on the day. I think we're equally like.
If I used to get like nervous. I wouldn't say no to doing things, but I used to be nervous to like go on TV and like stuff like that. And I would, because she seemed so like confident, like she was like, whatever, like she's kind of like, whatever happens. I would almost like keep my nervousness like on the inside, because I wanted to make her feel like I was just as confident, but really I was nervous. And obviously she knew, like we went and bought Bach flour. That's what you put under your tongue to make you calm down, because my anxiety was so high. But I won't say no, but she'll definitely, I'll feel that she's kind of like two things. Number one, who really cares? And number two, if we totally fuck up, so what? Like and I'm like
a very joke that I got medicated and like I should take. I don't have a lot of stress that I feel. Like I don't know what it is that I don't know what it is. I don't stress often. Nothing feels overwhelming to me, which is I'm not sure why. So when we get in situations, it's the weirdest thing. I don't know. And this past pandemic, I said, I almost want to try medication to see if I could, I
be even more chill.
No, like,
or the opposite.
Nat takes anxiety medication. And I'm like, would that help me? And she's like, no. And I'm like, do you think anything would help? And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay. Cause it's just this weird, we're in a lot of weird situations, and not much can get me very like, we'll be backstage about to walk out like on a stage with like 2,000 people and I'll look at Nat and be like, why are they here? And she's like, not right now, Cat. And I'm like, I just don't get why they're here to see us. Like, we're just two moms.
Not her to see, but the thing is, it's a good partnership in the way that she won't get nervous, but I won't say no. Yeah. So if we have any opportunity or we're doing anything, I'll just say yes, even though I know I'm going to like shit my pants about it.
Or like, I'll be like, to just say yes. Do you know what we're doing tonight? And she's like, stop it. Like, cause I won't prepare. I'll just show up and she'll know I'm like, you got this tonight?
You got this? Sure. I got this. Sure.
So, but it makes for good. I think if you had two very high stress people, we would not be able to do what we do because often we find ourselves in situations that are not normal. We've been like at one point we were reading our audio book and we got a phone call and they're like, you have to be in New York by the end of the day. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon. We have 7 kids to pick up. We have to get on a flight. And Nat's looking at me like, yeah, we can make it happen. And she's like, okay, cool. we can make it happen, And so like, we call who we need to call and we literally go to the airport. And she's like, what about? I'm like, no, we'll just figure it out. So it's like,
my mom.
It's like this weird dynamic where we're able to not overthink. I think so many people, entrepreneurs, women get stuck in this place where they think and think and think and think. And then they find roadblocks. And then you're like, you get defeated by the roadblocks that you've created in your head and you haven't even been able to take a step. And I don't know if she has the gift, but I have the gift of no roadblock. And she has the gift of not saying no.
And so, and in that way, no matter what we want to do in our business, we don't overthink it. We just start it. And we're not afraid that some things aren't going to work out. If it's in our head, we got to try it.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people, would be really hard for a lot of people to do.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Oh yeah. 100%. I mean, it's incredible. And it's incredible to have found each other so young and then to have reconnected. We're in our 40s now and I'm like, F all of it. Like all the thoughts I've brought to this point in my life, like, can we let this go and move on, right? How many years as women can we live in this way? And then I think to have a relationship with another woman that's so close, not competitive, it's collaborative. That's what we're trying to get in our community as well. That just like, you be you, however you want this to happen. You want to be a millionaire, you want to make $100,000, you want to be with your kids all the time. You don't. We never thought we were going to ever homeschool ever.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't homeschool by choice?
I virtual school.
Well, we didn't send our kids this whole time. No, not by choice. Never by choice.
Oh, like, are they like... Do they have to be home or you chose for them to be home?
We chose for them to be home.
We chose.
What? You're home? You homeschool your kids?
We don't homeschool. I do virtual school. Yeah.
Is that because of the pandemic or life?
Because of the pandemic.
No, never. Before we were like, no offense, everyone who homeschools,
worst.
Go for it.
Yeah.
But we were like, never will we ever. And then this whole year has been like, okay, yeah, never again. But okay, we did it.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
And we had those like rose-colored glasses on in a way, thinking that, okay, the schools are shut down. Kids have gone back to school. I kept my kids out there on virtual school. And I thought, this is going to be such a great bonding time. This is going to be so great. We'll never get this time back with them. Then I'm like, why did I do this to myself?
I know. It's a lot.
But it goes fast, right? Like it all goes so fast. So we're all making it through.
Good things and bad things in there, like
it goes fast. What?
We're finding it going very long.
Well, don't they say the days are long, but the years are short? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, they do say that. Right now, we're in the years are long.
The years are long. We feel the years are very. I only have a 5-year-old, and I'm like, she's so.
We're like, hurry up and grow up.
I know. We both have 5-year-old girls that we've had to do kindergarten at home, and we're like, oh, this
kindergarten at home. Yes.
We wanted strong women. We wanted to raise strong women.
They are definitely strong. They're very bossy, which will serve them hopefully in the real world,
Yes.
But so appreciate you just talking about it because we just want to normalize it for women. We want to normalize the being authentic. We want to normalize like messing up. We want to normalize getting help. We want to normalize women for women, right? Like I worked in corporate women, one went out on maternity leave. The other one was like, oh, I'm going to step up now, instead of being like, ooh, let me hold down the fort for you until you get back. So I think in general and what you're doing with TAYLIVI and for your daughters and starting with mom, to your daughters at home and then to their friends. It's just so impactful. So thank you for both of you being you and for meeting when you met and to continue this. And Minna and I are going to try and figure out tickets to Iowa to see your show when you're there.
Wait, we're coming to, I don't even know where we're going. I'm glad
we looked it up and they were like 21st time meeting. Let's go see him at Cat Nat
in Iowa.
Amazing.
So
amazing. We'll leave you guys tickets.
Oh, you're amazing. But thank you. And I hope
we don't have any friends or family there, so you can be our friends and family.
Yay, that would be amazing.
There, but not that we know.
It's worth a trip to Iowa for that.
Yes.
Well, thank you, ladies. And we cannot wait to see all the things that you do with the rest of the year. And we hope to see you in Iowa, I guess.
Thank you. It was so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. This episode is brought to you by the Shop 1 in 5 Pledge. We believe that when you purchase from a small online or offline business, your dollar goes further. Hey friends, Minna and I created the Shop 1 in 5 Pledge, and we're inviting you to take the pledge with us. It's a commitment to make 1 in 5 of your purchases from a small business, online or offline. It's a way to make an impact together where and when it matters most. Because the truth is, your purchasing power matters now more than ever. We're inviting you to take the pledge if you head to shop1in5.com. The link is in the show notes. And when you get there, please make sure to share the pledge with your friends, your family, and your customers. Let's invite everyone to take the Shop 1 in 5 pledge so that we can all use our purchasing power to change lives.